The information found in this video and related presentation is provided by the Retirement Research Foundation and is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered to be tax or investment advice. Very exciting interview today. This is Daniel Rondberg from the Retirement Research Foundation, sitting here with Ken Starks. Ken, glad to have you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Ken is a veteran, how many year mortgage?
17 years.
17-year mortgage broker, and probably one of the most well-versed and probably one of the most solution-driven mortgage brokers I've ever met. So glad to have him on this little segment, and I want to ask you a few questions for retirees and people that need mortgage advice and help from you. So tell me something about yourself and your practice, because you've run a really successful, business here in Arizona for a long time. Mm-hmm. What's different about you guys? I kind of asked this in the beginning of the show, but really what's makes you guys stand out in terms of how you can help your clients?
Yeah. That's a great question. And the biggest compliment that anybody can pay us is using the word strategist. Because, a 30-year fixed, as an example, is become a commodity, right? Mm-hmm. You see, advertised all over, various websites or whatever, right? And if you have a straight paycheck stub and, regular income and a great credit score, that's the easiest of the easy, right?
Right.
But the
the clean cut, just right.
Yeah. Could everybody be like that?
Right.
It'd be great. Yeah. But at the same time, do I buy down my interest rate? Do I not? How do you think through that? Do I pay? Sometimes it makes sense to take a higher interest rate and not pay closing costs. That does make sense sometimes. So it's the right strategy for what you're trying to accomplish. And so, I've been throughout the years. I've been in the Wall Street Journal and USA Today and some other media outlets. And I think that is the thing that differentiates myself and my team is the strategy to figure out the pathway that's right for you. Because that may not be the right strategy for somebody else. Should I use an FHA or a conventional? Should I do a reverse option or should I consider an all-in-one? Or should I just make double pay? All of those various ththings all go into the equation. Yeah. And the strategist, and especially our entrepreneur clients, business owners, as entrepreneurs have very complex tax returns or can have very complex tax returns that many do not understand. And because I've always been very entrepreneurial, I do understand the strategies that go into various people's tax returns and how to help them qualify. And at the same time, we have the alternative products that help folks that don't qualify through traditional methods. So that's probably the biggest thing that differentiates us is that we I and my team are strategists. And we work in all 50 states. So no matter where you might be across the country, we can help.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And getting to assess, we do a lot of due diligence on who we bring onto the network. And, you had a great list of referrals and people that were really happy. And I've seen your work. You've done a great job for people. That brings up an interesting point, though, and I want to close with two things. One, when you talk about, having your knowledge and verse in the tax world, not that you're a CPA or anything, but definitely your knowledge base in that area is so important because it seems like the better tax strategy you build, the worse you look on paper for a lender. I mean, you almost need a lender who understands, has a basic understanding of taxes because the more savvy you look as a business owner and try to deploy these strategies there, it's tough to buy real estate. I mean, it's...
So what I commonly do with my self-employed clients is, every year around tax time, it's wise to think about, what's coming in the coming year, right? Because once you file those returns, although certainly you can amend a tax return, but depreciation and paper losses, as you would say, are very different than expenses. Yeah. If you expense something in your business, well, that's out the window. Depreciation, mileage, other things like that are strategies to help lower your tax burden but still help you qualify for the loan you might want. And so, CPAs tend to have their own language. And I speak CPA, right? Because I understand why, right?
Yeah.
No offense to CPAs, but you kind of speak your own language. But I can jump in and understand what they're saying, and many small business owners are like, yeah, my CPA handles that. I don't really know what we do. That's fine, right? We speak CPA. We're very comfortable working with those folks, so know how to get in and understand.
Yeah, that's a huge game changer for a lot of people, especially the entrepreneurs that have the more complicated tax terms, as you mentioned. So, Ken, definitely one of the more lively, fun, knowledgeable, great friend personalities I've had on the show. I've really enjoyed this segment with you. As we're closing up, if you have any questions or need to reach out to somebody about what you can do to look good or get ready on paper to implement any of these strategies, Ken is a great resource for that. I want to talk for a minute. I did have Mark on the show, But I didn't bring this up because I pressed Mark and put him on the spot and tried to get some of his best strategies out of him, and he wouldn't give everything away. He gave a lot, but he wouldn't give me the one that I asked for that he put in the course. But we worked together on a project called Free and Clear Solutions.
Yep.
And I was particularly proud and grateful you invited me to be a part of that with you. I came in and did the infinite banking piece, and you did all the mortgage strategy pieces.
Yep.
And we kind of touched on a couple of these. That's why I thought it'd be relevant to bring up. I was particularly proud because I felt that was an in-depth course where somebody could really learn how to implement these strategies and then learn which one was right for them, depending on which cycle in the retirement planning phase they're in. If they're in the early phases, they're younger, maybe they want to be free and clear and financially free. Or later in retirement, there were some really great pieces that you really delved in on, with the HECM and different strategies that they could implement. So,
well, I've wanted to bring something to the marketplace for so long because most people don't do mortgages every day. They don't do taxes. They don't do financial planning.
Right.
And to I think a lot of people, all of those topics are scary, right? Nobody wants to deal with the IRS. Everybody wants to be enough money in retirement, and mortgage is like a necessary evil.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to bring Free and Clear to folks is to help educate in simple ways to break down what is kind of complex. And the pathway to being financially free. Sure, you could go spend no money, don't have a latte, and right. Buy a special Dave Mobile, or take it by taking control of and understanding interest, average daily interest, and taking control of the amortization tables and putting them in your favor. It's just a different way of thinking. Other folks in Australia, in New Zealand, other countries have used this strategy forever. It's just their normal way of being. But our 30-year fixed marketplace really came out of the Great Depression, and makes banks a lot of money. And so, that's by putting the information and breaking it down, simple, digestible chunks, and being available to answer people's questions, as an educator, it puts the power in people's hands to become free. Right. And free might look different for you. Maybe it's kids, maybe it's travel, maybe it's I want to go back to college. Who knows what it might be, right? I want to garden. I want a different job for my retirement. I don't know. But giving people the power to choose that. Right. By not being indebted to their mortgage.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Retirement Research Foundation is dedicated to free education, help people retire sooner, smarter, and safer. We don't sell anything. We don't sell any financial products at Retirement Research Foundation. Free and Clear Solutions is a paid course where you can learn all these different strategies directly.
Yep.
If you have any other questions or you need anything, you'd like to reach out to Ken directly, please feel free to send us an email. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please leave comments in the section below. As always, I'm Daniel Rondberg. Thanks for watching.